metal wings to fly won't take you to the stars. Use the metal for a boat and you won't sail too far. Stop sitting in the dark, stirring metal pots about. You will change your life forever when you figure out the secret PinCode, 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 PinCode. Science can be tricky, it can overheat your brain. Science can be hard to chew, each bite can be a pain. Stop sitting in the dark, stirring metal pots about. You will change your life forever when you figure out the secret PinCode, 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 the secret PinCode, 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 PinCode.
La 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 la.
Wow, this is phenomenal. Really, truly inspiring. Whoa!
Knockout! Great catch there! What a knockout!
Or maybe we'll play six hands, huh?
Or we could wave some rackets around. Have a knock around.
Oh, believe me, my friends, in the future, we'll have much more entertaining ways to spend our free time. Take, for example, terraforming. An amazing hobby that is suitable for any age.
Woohoo! Holy carrots!
Sounds just fantastic.
Interesting!
Huh? And what's that, huh?
Who knows? But sounds awesome.
Ah, well, the term terraforming comes from two Latin words, terra meaning earth and forma meaning shape. And it means, unsurprisingly, the transformation of any cosmic bodies into Earth-like ones. That is, into cosmic bodies upon which our flora and fauna can be without any threat to life. This can be achieved by changing the temperature, atmosphere, and other environmental factors to a state suitable to us.
That's even better than I thought.
Pretty radical.
Craftsmanship. Huh?
Well, let's get on with terraforming something then, uh-huh?
Sure! Maybe the moon?
Seems unambitious.
The sun.
Too tricky.
But maybe...
Mars. I suggest we start with Mars.
Excellent choice.
Mars is the fourth planet from the Sun. The average annual temperature is minus 50 degrees Celsius. It's not possible to breathe, and spacesuit must be worn.
Well, for now, yes. But after a bit of terraforming, we'll sort that out.
We're gonna need to put together some activities. Maybe some rock climbing, or maybe some ice skating.
And a spot for sunbathing? A spa place? With beauty procedures.
Wait, hold up with the decor. Let's first figure out how to make the planet habitable. Colleagues, your suggestions?
The main thing that makes Mars uninhabitable is its rarefied atmosphere. We literally have nothing to breathe. And it's pretty cold too. Mars has an average annual temperature of minus 50 degrees Celsius, which I'm sure you'll agree is a bit on the nippy side. We can solve two of these problems at once by placing giant mirrors next to Mars to focus the sunlight on its poles. This way, you can melt the polar caps of Mars and release carbon dioxide into its atmosphere. But it won't be enough. We still have to build factories on Mars to produce greenhouse gases. That which harms our native Earth would be of benefit on Mars. Greenhouse gases heat the planet's atmosphere to the desired temperature. Then we would have to somehow bombard Mars with ice asteroids, with collisions that would not only increase its temperature, but also the volume of water on the planet. After that, everything becomes a lot easier, increasing the force of gravity by 3 times, saturating the atmosphere with oxygen, and creating a magnetic field that will protect the planet from cosmic radiation.
Come on! Can we take off our spacesuits already? Everything's okay. I was just kidding.
Silly joke.
Not good.
Nice fresh air.
Yeah, and temperature.
Just the view is a bit uninspiring.
Yeah, we really need some mountains to climb.
And some lakes to go fishing.
Plenty to do right now. To spruce it up a little bit,
And a bit of a breeze wouldn't hurt for paragliding.
That's enough. This isn't a planet, but some kind of extreme sports wonderland.
But it's so cool, though.
Right, we get the message. Nobody's interested in anything we say. Our opinion counts for no.
We're gonna terraform our own planet with flowers and beauty salons. We're gonna need a bit of help.
so shall we get started?
Venus is the second planet from the Sun. In terms of size, it is almost the same as the Earth.
Oh, almost the same as the Earth. That's much better than some tiny little Mars.
I should say, the size of the planet doesn't really matter.
Ha! Tell that to your Martian friends. Why don't you tell us how to breathe life into it?
On Venus, the situation is almost the opposite of the one on Mars. There is a rich atmosphere, and as a result, it's very hot, 450 degrees Celsius, and there is a lot of carbon dioxide. In addition, this atmosphere is very dense. The pressure on the surface of the planet is the same as in the depths of the ocean. Also on Venus, there are very long days, as long as about 240 Earth days, and it rains sulfuric acid.
What can you do? Everyone has their downsides and their upsides.
No one can argue with that. In order to deal with these, peculiarities, we can apply one of a number of methods. For example, we could use those same mirrors and not only to focus the sun's rays onto the planet, but the opposite, to reflect away any extra. And if you froze Venus's atmosphere, the carbonic acid would turn into dry ice, which would cover the entire planet in a layer 600 meters deep, and the excess would simply have to be removed. Also, we could apply asteroids. If we accurately calculated the blow, the rotation of a planet would change enough so that we have days that equal to those on Earth. By the way, hypothetically, a magnetic field can appear from this rotation. And to make the air suitable for breathing, we could throw a cyanobacteria at the planet, which would convert the remaining carbon dioxide into oxygen. And the lack of water could easily be corrected with ice comets to form some small seas with a depth of tens of meters. A few hundred comets would suffice.
Excellent. Right now, we'll solve the rest.
I can safely say that terraformation has been more than successful.
Turn it up loud. We're going to be on TV now.
We are delighted to announce 2 new tourist destinations, Mars and Venus. The opinions of potential tourists were found to be divided equally, some in favor of the extreme outdoors Mars, while others preferred the relaxing resorts of Venus.
What does he mean equal? Venus is obviously better.
A lot more boring than our Mars.
My dear friends, how could there be any disputes when...
Oh, really? We're gonna make Venus even cooler. visitors will be ours.
And we'll make Mars even more extreme, several times.
My friends,
Incoming message from Venus.
Doctor, how do we make the northern lights brighter?
we could reduce the magnetic field, but that would affect the atmosphere.
Got it! That's what we'll do then!
Incoming message from Mars.
How do we make the wind a bit stronger?
You could adjust the atmospheric pressure, but make sure you don't overdo
What did I
it.
tell you, see? Pressure. And can you tell us how to make the grass grow faster?
And bigger.
As a rule, plant growth is much more intensive in tropical countries.
That's it. Let's take away the reflectors from the sun.
Wait a minute.
We wanted our mountains even higher, but they're falling apart for some reason. What's with that?
Well, nobody changed the laws of gravity.
Do you hear that? Lower the gravity!
No!
Mars, in its current state, has a terrible temperature. With no atmosphere, the planet's not suitable for life. And the state of Venus isn't any better.
Yeah, looks like I think we overdid it a little.
What do we do now? All the same, it's good that wise old nature didn't focus on all kinds of subjective wishes when it created a climate for our beautiful planet.
Hard to argue with that.
Oh, and there go the first group of visitors.
Maybe we should have warned them.
So what do you reckon, huh? Not bad, eh?
That'll be fine. No scratching or watching.
Hostility level is low. Emotional background level.
Have some of that.
Bon appetit, and have some of that.
Hostility level above average. Emotion, excitement.
You used to be me daffodil.
Earthlings have an unidentified weapon. Prepare to open fire on target. False alarm.
My little smoochie coochie mins. My little cutie smoochie cutie woody. Oh, look at
Hostility
you.
level
Little
0.
cutie buddy,
Emotion,
coochie coo.
love. Work time is over. Return to your compartments. Work time is over. Return to your compartments. Hostility level 0. Emotion, love. Emotion, love.
Information brief.
Emotions are a psychic process in terrestrial organisms, reflecting their evaluative attitude to existing or possible potential situations. It manifests itself in erratic external behavior. All of Pluto's inhabitants have been relieved of this dangerous function for the last several thousand years. Most researchers agree that fundamentally most Earthlings are pre-programmed with a small number of emotions: joy, fear, anger, curiosity, resentment, and disgust. Any other emotions that appear are acquired through a process of learning or through the unconscious copying of environmental behaviors. In this instance, the expression of emotion with different cultures of Earthlings is practically the same. Strong emotions activate the nervous system, which is accompanied by a change in the work of internal organs, as well as increased or a weakened brain and physical activity. Similarly, the emotional state significantly changes the assessment of reality. Because of the obvious harm to life and work, any emotions for all Plutonians are strictly forbidden. End of information. Start of the work time. Go to your workplace. Start of the work time.
Oh, aren't we lovely? Aren't we glorious?
My dear girl, playtime's anytime, but yoga has a timetable.
Krash, come here, quick. I think I've caught an alien.
I know your little pranks. I bet you hidden some little crackers in there.
My pranks? You're the prankster around here. Ha! There's an alien.
Hey, wait!
Grab him.
Stop! We're your friends!
Don't let him get away.
Grab him!
Quick. And now, sit sus on there.
Stop! We're your friends!
How could you? Oh, the dare to leave your blood. I don't understand anything. Nothing said.
Why, you?
You pair of savages!
Oh, stop! Stop! We want to be your friends! Okay, we gotcha!
Empty.
You're really something! I almost even believed you! How did you set that up, even?
Hostility is 0. Emotion 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 is 0.
Yeah. Looks like your Snooky really has disappeared.
Maybe it was taken by that alien that we nearly caught.
Why do we have feelings? Like sad. I don't want to feel this. I'm just in so much pain.
Feelings and emotions are just a part of us, and there's nothing that can be done about it.
It would be better if I just didn't feel anything at all. Why do we need emotions at all?
That's a good question. On the one hand, emotions help us achieve our goals and better cope with work. Not to mention other joys. But on the other hand, they have the opposite effect, which makes emotions completely useless and even harmful. So, what are they for? After all, it would seem a world without emotions would be much easier and more effective. But this is not so. Psychology says that without emotions, we would not be able to do anything at all. Every one of us is programmed to do only that which will help him avoid grief or make him happy. Or to help others. Create something new and just enjoy life. At the dawn of civilization, reflexes, instincts, and emotions helped our ancestors survive and develop. Reflexes and instincts saved us from danger and helped us overcome any challenges. And emotions helped us understand that the chosen action was correct and eventually gave meaning to what was going on. Many years have passed since then, and it is generally accepted that now our actions are controlled by the intellect. But in actual fact, intellect only helps us choose a course in the world of emotions to avoid sadness and achieve joy. Although sometimes things happen which are beyond our control.
And what do we do in these cases?
Unfortunately, you can't be happy all the time. Although, being miserable all the time doesn't really work either.
That means we just have to wait.
Warning, emotions detected. Warning, emotions detected. Warning, emotions detected. Warning, emotions detected.
Attention, all systems overloaded. Attention, power shortage. All systems are overloaded. Attention, not enough power for takeoff.
Looks like It's not gonna work.
Well, that only confirms our theory. If even the spaceship couldn't.
Can somebody tell me what's going on?
Oh, Pin. How did we not notice him?
Cancel takeoff!
Takeoff cancelled to recalculate flight capabilities.
What have you done over here?
Everything's okay. We just decided to visit the ruins of an ancient town and do one little experiment.
What sort of experiment? And where the devil are we?
We'll have to tell him everything.
But then don't be sorry that you asked.
Ben, didn't you ever think it was foolish to look for a reasonable life somewhere in space when so many unknown secrets are made on our own native planet?
And all pointing to the fact that past civilizations were helped by some sort of extraterrestrial.
We are all so used to the world around us that we don't pay attention to all the unexplainable things that actually surround us. For example, can anyone explain who's always tangling up our headphones? Or who built the Egyptian pyramids? Someone will say, why the Egyptians, of course, but that would be wrong. Each such pyramid is made of such huge slabs of stone, just enormous in size. For such constructions, they've even given its own special name, megalith. Chico, give us some numbers.
Why do I always have to do the boring numbers? And you get to talk about the most powerful truck in the world.
They're not boring numbers. They're super pooper figures that make your brain explode. And only you can make them sound cool, Spiky. And anyway, I was never the best with numbers.
Well, I don't know. I could give it a try. The pyramids of Cheops, the maximum weight of a block is 15 tons. In the pyramid of Khafre, the maximum weight of a stone block is 42 tons. And finally, the champion, the pyramid of Mikarin. The maximum weight of a one block is, 200 tons.
Thanks, Chico. Now think about it. How could the Egyptians move such huge items without electricity or cranes? But that's not all. Get ready to have your mind blown away. The Temple of Jupiter and the ancient town of Baalbek. At its base, there are 3 stones called trilithons, which are perfectly crafted stones with an absolutely perfect shape. Chico!
The dimensions of each slab are about 4 meters in width and height, and in length about 20 meters. They weigh 800 tons.
Yes, these are the most super mega huge structures on the planet. Such a megalith can't even be carved with modern-day technology, let alone them being moved from one place to the other. Currently, the loading capacity of the most powerful truck in the world is only 400 tons.
So right now we're in that Bala in Baalbek, in the temple ruins of Jupiter.
And these are the heftiest colossal stones. Now all that remains is to lift one of them into orbit.
Some people think that the trilithons are huge transmitters of antiquity, which were left here on our planet by extraterrestrials.
Uh-huh. Or they were created by an ancient race of titans. But I like the one about the extraterrestrial transmitters more.
This is all very interesting, but what did you actually want to do with them?
To transmit them, we need to raise the megalith higher and send a signal out to our distant intellectual kinfolk.
Transmitters!
Not everyone can handle the truth.
Necessary power for takeoff found from alternative connection. Starting countdown. 5,
9, abort takeoff!
4, 3, 2, 1. Takeoff.
Computer, abort takeoff!
Ben, what's up? Were you want to ruin our experiment? It worked! It worked!
Computer, switch to manual control!
Request denied. All powers switched to previous task.
Don't worry so much, Pin. We calculated everything. When we get out into space, we'll go into zero gravity and everything will be lighter.
Fasten your seatbelts. Prepare for turbulence.
Good sooner, we're in zero gravity.
Attention. Energy overload. Flight interrupted.
We've got to use your little super stone, or we're done for.
You can't just fling away such a valuable ancient artifact.
Extraterrestrial transmitters shouldn't be lying around on the road.
Good. I promise I'll show you another megalith. Even better than your extraterrestrial transmitter.
Holy carrots! Is that a promise?
Yeah. It's even got its own antenna.
Oh, cool.
No, that won't work. That's a very strong knot.
Otherwise, he wouldn't have held 800 tons.
And what do we do now?
Easier to untie it. Chico, why did you have to tie it so tight?
Because you told me to.
So where's this other megalith that you promised to show us? The one that's even better?
And with antennas.
But wait a minute. That's the...
This is Palace Square in St. Petersburg.
What kind of a joke is this? Where's the megalith?
Right in front of your nose. Throughout our history, there are many secrets and mysteries, but there's no need to summon extraterrestrials each time. It's unscientific. While scientifically, we can look through history for other similar examples of which we know a little more. For example, the well-known Alexander Column, a real megalith, which made such an impression when it was unveiled. After all, it is made of a single piece of granite with a height of 26 meters and a mass of 600 tons. And this was also made by our ancestors, equally with no electricity and no cranes. How on earth did they manage it? Leading on the construction of the column was the wonderful architect Auguste Montferrat. He left a lot of sketches and pictures which depict the entire process of creating the column. First, a large piece was cut at a quarry. It took 2 whole years and 400 workers. The work was done with a common crowbar and a sledgehammer. One person held the crowbar and the second hit it with a sledgehammer. Then this huge piece of stone was separated from the rock with help of some very long levers. From this square block, it was chiseled down to a beautiful round column. All of it done by hand without any magical machines. Then the column was transported to St. Petersburg by being loaded onto a special ship that could carry a lot of weight without going bul-bul. Once the column arrived in St. Petersburg, it still had to be raised on Palace Square. To do this, a large lifting device was made at height of almost 50 meters. And again, all the work was done manually. The column wasn't even fixed with anything. It stays in place due to its own weight. Since then, this amazing and beautiful megalith has stood for almost 200 years.
Are you saying there were no ancient titans and no extraterrestrials?
That's a bit of a letdown.
Of course there were. We can see the amazing results of the work of these titans. And we are their descendants.
Incoming signal from Chamomile Valley.
My friends, this is phenomenal. Look what just fell on my house, literally out of the sky. This incredible object is obviously of an extraterrestrial origin. It's a sign, my friends, from our cosmic brothers.
So you see, imagine, moles came and they said, would you teach? And ever since they've called me the digger.
Every year, this story just gets funnier and funnier.
Bravo, bravo! Well, since we've already eaten and heard everything, perhaps I'll go.
Not everything. We are waiting for the main story of the evening.
Another one?
Please.
Another one! Another one! Another one!
Well, if you ask nicely. Well, when I was just a little lad,
Is there any more cake?
Shh, get out the way.
from morning till night, I would read stories about all kinds of adventures. And the most amazing of all the stories were about the explorer, Krash. He got to America before Columbus and climbed Everest much earlier than Edmund Hillary. And after, he conquered all the nearest mountains just because he got a little lost on the way back. That's just the mountains. During his life, Krash traveled around the world twice. Twice! No, 3 times. Actually, no, just twice. But there was one little snag with this Krash. There were always a lot of stories about him, but there was never actually any evidence that he ever existed. Nothing.
Oh. And what? Is that it? I thought there was going to be some sort of dramatic finale.
So that's it. Inspired by Krash's travels, I went on an expedition of my own, following in his footsteps. I painstakingly carried out archaeological excavations, and here are the results. And this here is the modern-day proof of the existence of Krash. His left shoe.
Oh, it's so lovely.
It was after this discovery that I became a famous archaeologist.
Well, that is something.
Bravo, bravo! Barry, you're just such a talent.
Wow, my friend, how many times I've listened to you, and each time there's a surprise. Bravo, my friend, bravo!
So wait a minute, Barry. Are you famous?
My dear boy, that's why every year we celebrate the Day of the Archaeologist. What have you been using to listen with all this time?
Yeah, I would just like to say, I could also become famous. I mean, just go dig something old up, right? So, wanna lend me one of your shovels?
So are you an archaeologist yet? Have you become famous?
I don't understand. What's wrong? Maybe the shovel's defective?
Your head's what's defective. Archaeology is not just digging here and about. Archaeology is a whole science that studies the past by the things that are left behind by it. Before archaeology became a serious science, it was mainly tomb robbers who were interested in it. Them and their wealthy clients. They acted recklessly and without any rules, which often led to the destruction of historical monuments. In our time, archaeology is conducted under strict scientific conditions. Each object is cataloged and described along with everything that surrounds it. And in order to thoroughly study the excavations, today's archaeology also includes other sciences. Paleontologists are studying the remains of ancient animals and plants. Paleographic scientists study ancient inscriptions. A scientist-physicist will know the age of the find using radiocarbon analysis and other methods. There are also scientific historians. He gives tips on where to conduct the excavations. That's why no archaeological discovery can ever be made without some serious preparation.
Now I got it. You have to look for not just for anything, but for something specific. For example... For example... And now, my friends, I've done it! Yesterday, I finally made my super cool archaeological discovery! Huh? This is... the second stinky shoe of the great traveler Konyash. He did have 2 legs after all.
What?
Incredible! What an amazing discovery!
But how come his second shoe is also left-footed?
Chico, come on, holy carrots! The most famous fact about Konyash is that he had 2 left feet.
Amazing. I'll certainly write an article about this in the newspaper first thing.
Yeah, and I'll take a photo.
And I will conduct a radiocarbon analysis of the find.
Now you're a real celebrity, my friend.
Has anyone seen Kanyash's shoe?
Oh, what a coincidence! Krash found the second left shoe of Kanash himself!
Huh?
Barry! Wait a sec! But I just borrowed it for a sec. Holy carrots! What's the biggie? There's only 1 shoe, but only 2 people get to be famous. Wouldn't that be awesome?
That's not cool. You really haven't understood anything about archaeology.
Friends! This is incredible. It is fantastic, phenomenal. Time-honored expertise has shown that this shoe was made much earlier than the hypothetical existence of Konyash, and therefore has even greater historical value. Theoretically, this shoe could have belonged to Cleopatra, Caligula, or even Confucius, Constantine the Great, or...
Barry, don't worry so much. The boot is still valuable.
There are loads of evidence of the existence of Confucius and Caligula, but Kanyash is once again a myth for bear cubs.
But you can just not tell anyone about this, and all the glory of the first discovery will remain with you. Are you trying to say that I didn't understand anything in archaeology, right?
Well, that's the thing. Once upon a time, there was a boy named Arthur. He would passionately get carried away by ancient myths. In particular, he loved the story about the castle labyrinth, where a monster lived with the head of a bull known as a minotaur. Anyone who got caught in that labyrinth became his victim, until finally the courageous Theseus overcame the horned one. The boy grew up and went on to make many archaeological discoveries and became the famous scientist Arthur Evans. For the rest of his life, he could drink tea with a cake and hawk bikes to his many admirers. But on one of his expeditions on the island of Crete, he found an amazing castle. After all his time, Arthur Evans devoted to excavation. He wanted to prove that this was the same castle labyrinth with the ancient myths about the Minotaur. And to revive his favorite fairy tale, it took him 40 years. And all because the important thing for any archaeologist, this is not glory, but the truth.
So now what do we do? Just tell everyone that Kanyash was all just made up?
Where did you get that from? We just have to keep on searching.
And our path lays among the vast spaces of the unthinkable and the immense, with so much undiscovered swirling around us that it cannot be embraced by either mind or anything simpler. But this unseen beauty does not dismay the heart as it did before, because it abides not in rapture and in splendor, but rather in minute and ordinary details. Wally, for example, spent the day picking his ears, an endeavor in which he had unquestionably acquitted himself admirably, nor did he attempt anything any more useful or necessary. Chico studied the noble science of medicine, as he had doubtlessly once again prematurely diagnosed himself scabies or the bubonic plague, or indeed worse. Not once today had there been any of Krash's pranks or jokes. The blessing was unconscious. And what caused this sad incident?
How should I know? As if this is only the first time. All signs are normal. He'll be up and about before long, better than ever.
That won't do. We have here rabbits lying around unconscious, and we have no idea why. Oh, are things that bad?
What's happened with him? Is he worse?
Let's not panic. It's not worse for Krash. It's worse for history. Is there anyone among you who knows what happened to our restless little friend? For if we leave such a monstrous void in this chronicle, posterity will never forgive us for this.
Oh, here! We've got an eyewitness. He was the first person to find him in this condition.
I'm listening.
I dozed off at the helm, and when I woke up, he is already unconscious.
Oh, give it a rest, would you? How come your diary is now all of a sudden an historical document?
It is the recording of everyday details, my friend, that the science of history develops. History is the science of the past of mankind in all its diversity. It studies how different peoples, their religion and culture lived, when and under what conditions there were fierce battles, how and why people's lives have changed and become the same as now. And the cradle where history was born is considered to be ancient Greece. And history's founding father is the famous ancient Greek historian and philosopher Herodotus. His works collected a lot of valuable information on the history and culture of the peoples of the ancient world. And even in our time, we can find a huge amount of new details in his records through which we are able to solve some of the most difficult riddles from history. There are many ways to study history. One of them is excavation. You can, for example, dig a tomb, study bones and artifacts, and that way find out how long objects have been in the ground. This work is carried out by archaeologists, and the information they obtain is simply a treasure to historians. You can also go to the country that you wish to write about and speak to the local people about their own past. But here you are likely to encounter the Chinese whispers phenomena. In the past, it was not uncommon for one generation to verbally pass traditions on to the next generation without including some embellishment of their own. But with the invention of writing, everything became much easier. In the documents of ancient times, the authors had already collected materials and chronicled them into history, and it is there to be used. Written material is often the most important source of information about the past. And even the slightest scratch on a wall can tell so much to a historian. You see, even a scratch. And here we have a whole diary.
I think I know what happened today. Today, I witnessed an historical event that I believe could lead us on the trail.
You used to be me roses. Yeah, I can be ever so clumsy.
I thought so too. But if we look at the calendar, we can immediately see that whatever happened, happened with the participation of some big-eared joker. More than likely, he was once again the author of another series of pranks of which Olga was the victim. Clearly, everything and planned in advance.
You used to be me roses. And well, I never. And I just thought I slipped.
But what happened to Krash himself?
It's obvious. He came a cropper from one of his own pranks.
Well, this is a compelling argument. Let's record it.
I don't think silly pranksters deserve to go down in history.
Alas, but even true history will include some incorrectness. Therefore, any Herodotus can count on the memory of his descendants.
But wait, today isn't April 1st. In fact, it's the 7th. It's the International Day of the Owl.
Oh!
So Krash probably was preparing a gift for Olga. On this day, he probably wanted to do something nice for her, something special.
You used to be me daffodils. La, 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 la. You used to be me daffodils. La, 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 la.
But from the beginning, nothing went as planned. and Krash fainted from disappointment.
This all's so moving.
So we have two accounts about one and the same event. Well, in history, that wouldn't be the first time. As soon as an eyewitness starts to tell a story, he puts across a certain point of view. But it may not correspond with someone who sees the same thing, but from another point of view. Take, for example, the notorious emperor of Russia, Peter the Great. On the one hand, he was one of the pioneers for advancing Russian naval culture. He was able to expand the borders of the Russian Empire while establishing economic relations with European countries. And in 1703, Peter the Great founded the beautiful city of St. Petersburg and made many reforms that were progressive and useful. But let's take a look at the reign of Peter the Great from the other side. He shaved off the beards of all the noblemen and forced them to wear a European dress, interrupting the centuries-old national tradition. Peter I introduced secret searches to Russia and persecution of any dissenting voices. And any person could be forced to serve in the army forever, completely against their will. So, who was Peter I? Was he a tyrant or an innovator? That depends on who was documenting this historical period.
So tell me what really happened.
Holy carrots, looks like I dozed off a little bit.
Now, I'm no historian, but shouldn't we wait to ask Krash?
Krash, you woke up.
What do you mean, woke up? What happened?
Well, that is what we wanted to ask you.
Holy carrots! Well, I don't remember anything.
Wow.
Poor old Krash.
I was expecting more twists and turns.
Aye. Well, my friends, I guess some things just end up remaining a mystery to history.
Rosa was gonna go on a diet anyway.
Attention. Warning. Meteor warning. Attention. Meteor warning.
Holy carrots! Ben, wake up! There's a warning!
You used to be me daffodils.
Deactivating meteor warning. Collision averted.
Who's got the illest skills, huh? This will definitely go down in history.